Needs countdowns. Today, we are just going to get everything rolling here because the Alienware Enter the Storm Qualifier Cup number 5 next game is ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said, likely to be another round of 16 because we don't really have all those round of 8s ready to go. So, for your entertainment only, Hyperion is going to be taking on the true Team Fancy, covered here by Forgo Jester and Sham 2. And they're already into map bans.
Yeah, I mean, True Team Fancy has just such a great name. I saw TTTF as their initial or abbreviations looking over at the bracket, and I was like, I don't know who they are, but that sounds like a very complicated team name. And then I actually looked at the team name, and I was like, that is a marvelous team name.
The TTTF.
Yeah, the TTTF.
Now, this is a team, at least again, the name I've seen in multiple qualifiers before. They didn't make the top 8 in the first round. They're really looking to make the top 8 here, or the top 1, I want to say today, to make the new top 8 for the grand finals. I mean, $5,000. Who wouldn't want a piece of that?
Right.
Sham 2. So the True Team Fancy, I'm not entirely too sure how they stack up against a team Hyperion, but I definitely have some confidence that this will be a great game, and it will actually be a repeat game on Sky Temple.
Gotta love that Sky Temple. It's such a great map. We all started off hating it, but then I think we slowly became accustomed to it and just kind of, okay, let's talk about these bans because this is just going weird already. We've got a Tyrael ban and a Zeratul ban just to completely derail my train of thought about how much I love Sky Temple. What is going on here?
Well, so the Tyrael ban, we've been seeing more and more Falstead, right? Back and forth. So that it could just be like a big defeat for big Wombos. At the same time, I mean, Judgments could be a sanctification specialty here from Hyperion. I mean, there's a number of factors that can go either way of that. But I can understand that they don't want those big Wombos, and he's a heck of a warrior to start delivering those.
Right. Yeah, he is. He's actually been seeing a lot of use lately. I know Cloud9 Maelstrom have been using a lot of Tyrael over here in the NA, but seeing it's in the EU, it kind of catches me as a little bit curious. But then we go back into what we're used to, what I can sigh relief and be like, I could talk about this. Jaina gonna be first pick, and then Sylvanas Illidan gonna be picks up here for Hyperion.
All right, so Jaina was actually one of the big bans in the last game. So having her as a first pick here, she is still really powerful. In fact, come Tuesday or next Tuesday, whenever the patch is actually going to hit, I fully suspect that we're going to see her toned down a little bit more. So get as much use of her as you can. But Sylvanas Illidan, I'm pretty hyped that we're going to see an Illidan.
Yeah, I know, right? Like Illidan, he's still just one of those really, really fun heroes to watch, as well as to watch how the enemy team has to deal with him. We're already seeing the ETC pick up here because ETC is just really nice at just doing those little disrupts with his power slide, with his guitars. Just basically in everything he does is just really nice for just kind of just helping out mitigate that Illidan because Jaina is already a huge target. So now they kind of have to sculpt the rest of their team around dealing with that Illidan, whilst Hyperion is going to have to scope the rest of their team around really emphasizing that Illidan, just keeping it alive, doing all these cool things. Brightwing, great way to deal with Illidan, though.
Yeah, you get that Critterize at level 16. That really just does put a hamper on the Illidan by then. But at the same time, I mean, Polymorph, Emerald Wind, Cleanse can also come out huge here if there's going to be a big Wombo to go with that. So, yeah, you can really defeat a lot of Illidan combos with those dives and try to keep your team as safe as possible. The ETC as a mainstay hero against him as well. I mean, it does come a lot with built-in crowd control. So we'll have to see what else True Team Fancy wants to roll with that because they kind of need a little bit more damage. But still, Hyperion, they immediately pick up that Rhaegar to go with that Illidan. And, you know, we don't really see a lot of, like, the Rhaegar Tassadar anymore. It's usually more of a Tyrande flavored. Would we see a Brawler class right here, do you think?
We could potentially see something like a Brawler. Flex support probably is not what they want to pick up immediately because there's so many that really kind of fit into that mold. They could pick up the Tassadar, they could pick up Tyrande. I think here they need to make sure that they get a really nice warrior, and I think
I can't imagine that there would be a warrior ban coming or a like counter pick from True Team Fancy in the next round.
Yeah,
I think you can leave your warrior off. I really don't think you need to prioritize a warrior right here.
Yeah, but a Tyrande or a Tassadar kind of picks up here, and I don't think True Team Fancy is going to pick up both of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Hyperion is kind of just open up to a lot of different options right now. And
I mean,
I think
Vala's still on the board here as well. If you want to
it's
just
true.
secure a really good back-end DPS, Zagara I know has played a lot more on that side of the ocean, but it's not necessarily quite the combo they need. They do need a really good laner for Sky Temple, especially earlier on, and so, Zagara can really handle that.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad point either. They do kind of need a better laner. Murden, I think, would probably be a really good pickup here for Hyperion. I think they need a warrior and a flex. And I think
Yeah,
it's probably going to be like Murden Tassadar or Murden Toronto if they can.
or nothing at all like that.
Well, huh.
Hello, Nova. Long time no see.
It's funny. They've got a Banshee and a Ghost on the same team. We need Ghostbusters on the
Wow.
True Team Fancy, and they'll be fine.
I thought we were getting at a Halo joke for a minute there.
Oh, the Covenant.
Yeah, the Covenant of Nova and Sylvanas. Oh, okay, so they're gonna go big burst. I mean, it's not a terrible way to go because especially if you can get that big burst damage out there. I mean, especially the stealth going back and forth. The roams are not going to be terrible, but you are kind of leaving yourself a little bit vulnerable for only the one healer on the Illidan. So it's going to be really up to the Nova Sylvanas to kind of combo out their burst and look to delete someone. And I think Jaina is really going to be a big target there. She has no innate escapes. She's not exactly the fastest on feet. And at the same time, this is True Team Fancy is really confident that a Nova will not deter a Lost Viking pickoff early on.
Yeah, that's a really interesting pick to go into a Nova. And especially what's really nice is that they banned their own great answer to Nova, which is a Tyrael. Of course, they already picked the Warrior, so it's not like they could pick up Tyrael anyway.
That's
But
it.
it's anytime you see a Nova picking up that Tyrael is just such a nice win. Tassadar could be a really nice pickup here, but actually, I would probably sooner say Taronda to work with that Jaina.
There's nothing really here to kind of combo big with the Jaina. I mean, we got the light Viking boat at 10, but that's
Yeah.
still going to be a ways off. There's no Vala picked up here. There's no Zagara. Big steady DPS, big burst DPS. I feel like it's not going to be a flex. I feel like they need a little bit more to combo here
A little bit more oomph.
for the Jaina. Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible too.
And the
there's-
Viking will come into it, but it'll take a while.
That's true. That's very true. So, I mean, there are a number of different things that they could possibly be going for right now, and that's going to be, I guess, the big question is, what is their last pick? They're taking a good amount of time to think about this as well.
It's their last pick. They can take all the time that they want.
That's quite true. Quite true.
Well, within 30 seconds, we will have that answer. On the flip side, though, Hyperion, I mean, Diablo's still on the table. Mirrodin is still on the table. It's highly probable we're going to see either of those come into this, especially, with Reverberation builds becoming big with Mirrodin. Like, he could easily, if this is going to be like a Vala or another big auto attacker, he could easily go into those attack speeds, get imposing presence later on. If it's going to be more of a mage, he could easily go into Stormbolts. But either way, the Mirrodin for a stun combo. Wow!
Now
Wow!
that is an enthralling pick. They're picking up Thrall. What? Okay. I can actually kind of see this. So Thrall's big issue is that he's kind of always like that kid running, trying to catch up to his group of friends. If the friends are always coming to you, then Thrall is not in a bad position. Muradin going to be the pickup here for Hyperion, though.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But wow, that Thrall pick is a very interesting pick. And I guess that Muradin now is going to go Reverberation build just to deal with that Thrall.
I would expect to see the Reverberation, not only because of the Thrall, but if you can get some Vikings in that as well, you're really going to be limiting auto attacks from Eric and Balog. Maybe not so much Olaf. Nobody really cares about auto attack Olaf. But
Are you in the lobby, by the way?
I am not. Are you?
I'm not. I was waiting
Okay.
to see if there was actually a lobby yet.
Don't worry. We'll get to it. Invite to lobby.
I'm just getting scared here.
All good, sir. I got your back.
All right, cool. All right, so yeah, I mean that's a very this is a set of picks and bans here.
So
The Nova
it's-
into Vikings, and then the Thrall into.
So Thrall has no escape.
Yeah.
Vikings, at least initially, won't have any escape. Jaina has no escape. Brightwing, debatable. I mean, she has a Zed, but it's not really like an escape. There's a lot of good, juicy targets here for a Nova to kind of play around with, especially early on with that stealth. How good are the Abathur eyes going to be for the True Team Fancy? Are they going to be able to just maintain control and knowledge of wherever Nova is? And if they're not, I mean, you could start seeing some Vikings going down very quickly. You might start seeing, Thrall getting chunked out. Brightwing's going to be very much on her toes as the only possible source of heals.
That's what I'm really scared about, is the fact that Brightwing is the only healer here. I mean, Brightwing's a pretty darn good healer, but if she has to go for something like an Emerald Wind just to deal with an Illidan, get a little bit more of that disengage, then she's going to be in a really tough spot for trying to keep everybody healed up at the same time. She doesn't have a healing ward. She's only got her passive, and then she's going to be picking up Gust of Healing at level 7, most likely. So she's
Well,
going to be in a bit of a spot.
That's a good point. The only thing that you can really cleanse here is a Mirrodin.
Yeah.
Is Mirrodin worth picking up that cleanse, or will you actually go for the Gust?
Has to go for the Gust. Has to go for the Gust. I can't see anything else happening here because they need to keep up the Lost Vikings, Thrall, ETC, and Jaina. Now, Thrall and Lost Vikings do have their own little sustain measures. Thrall, of course, gets his heal on his trait after every 3 hits of auto attacks or hits. And then the Lost Vikings, of course, also have their nice little Viking horde. I forget the actual name of the talent. But, they'll be able to keep themselves alive a little bit better. ETC, Guitar Hero helps out a little bit. Jaina is going to be a big issue, though. There's no burst healing for her, and they need to kill that Illidan very quick before Jaina goes down.
So there was a lobby, and then they exited the lobby. So I'm just waiting for the new one. Still waiting just to get this game going here, ladies and gentlemen. But, I wouldn't really put us too far away from a launch as of yet. And, Sham, those eyes on your floating head are just piercing me here. It's just like,
yes, they are.
No man left behind. No worries, sir. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yes.
As well, remember, it's on Sky Temple.
Yeah.
It's a big map.
It is a pretty big map.
The Vikings have a good chance here of bringing out that lead early, especially because we have those early temple spawns. There's going to be people leaving lanes, and you could see a full 4-man force from the True Team Fancy just kind of converge on one of them, look for a team fight, because you're very likely not to have the 5-man collapse from Hyperion.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be a really nice counter to the point that there's going to be a Sylvanas on the enemy team. So they're going to be sitting at a really nice experience advantage, and they're going to be able to start pushing in these lanes a little bit earlier, maybe do a little bit more tower damage, which makes those shrines do just a little bit more and possibly take out those forts. But it's all to counteract that Sylvanas, which is going to be like the big issue of if they lose a team fight, if the Lost Vikings do go down, you're going to have a huge issue of trying to stay alive and trying to keep your forts from falling because Sylvanas can just immediately just eliminate them, especially with an Illidan as well. Illidan's just a really nice PvE element as well. So it's scary if True Team Fancy starts losing one too many fights later on in the game. They're going to be losing a lot of their structures.
Now, we didn't really talk too much about the combination here of Illidan and Rhaegar, as we are actually into the lobby. We're just waiting for them to kind of figure it all out, and we'll get this rolling. But yes, Hyperion, that Illidan, he doesn't have a huge amount to kind of worry about, like in big team fights, right? There's no real big CCs. I mean, it depends on what Thrall really wants to roll, but past Polymorph, ETC is basically going to be tied up by a lot of other people. But past Polymorph, could it be a Sundering here from the Thrall as well? Past that, there's not a huge amount of burst to go down on him. Like, his sustain will do really well.
Yeah, and that's really, I guess, the scary point. I mean, there's the Polymorph, but that's about it. The great thing about having the Lost Vikings versus Illidan, though, is spin to win.
Spin to win.
If you put your Lost Vikings around an Illidan, and then you get the spin to win, doesn't matter what he just popped. If he's using his E or anything, he's still going to get immediately chunked pretty quickly. But once that Rhaegar throws down the Ancestral, it's going to be like, oh, well, that kind of sucks.
That's the big thing. I mean, are they going to spare stuns for the Ancestral? Are they just going to try to burst down the Illidan? I'm having trouble actually seeing that happen. There's a lot of things here to juggle. Mirrodin as well is going to be putting up, Stormbolt with Pierce. He's going to be putting up Reverberation. He's going to be in the mix with those mini stuns from his ultimate, because it's very likely not a Haymaker. And at the same time, Sylvanas, Silence Arrow. It's going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah. Not only that, but not even just the fact that Wailing Arrow comes in and silences people, but it's AoE versus Lost Vikings.
Yeah, you catch the Vikings on it. Now, that's a curious thing. If you catch one Viking but not another, can he still boat?
Is this a philosophical question? I feel like this is if a tree falls and no one's around to hear it.
I don't know. I've never really thought of that. If one Viking is silenced, can he still boat?
I think everybody's got voting rights. I think it doesn't matter if you're silent or not. Everybody should be able to vote.
Everybody should be able to vote. It's still interesting that some of these teams have no idea who Gosugamer observers are.
Hi.
Yep. Hi. Yes, we're here. Good luck. Have fun. All right, so we are in the lobby, and the game is about to roll. We can hope. They're just, I don't know. They're trying to contest us.
I don't understand. So that's the thing. I'm just gonna go on a quick tangent. I don't understand teams that go into tournaments, but they don't want to be shown on a stream. It's like, what? Like, you can't be secret here. This isn't a scrim. Anyway, let's go back into this. Composition-wise, I'm just completely confused as to who's actually going to win here, because the Nova is...
That's good.
I think the Nova is just the weakest link here on Hyperion.
Wow.
Okay. So, this is... hold on. Sorry, we're just dealing with... Some people in our lobby chat apparently don't believe we're actually from Gosugamers.
That's all right. They have no choice.
Unless they boot us and just go. That would suck. That's actually happened to me in StarCraft before.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you the real Sham 2?
I'm the real
I don't believe you. That's I've never actually like had that before. It's like, are you the real Forgore Jester? I get that in games, but I've never got that as a spectator. So this is actually rather funny to me. Either way, it looks like they finally are going to start up the lobby, and they're doing the hero picks, and we're going to get into this. The fact that you can't place a winner, Sham 2, is very good, because, you know, it's a close game just based upon the draft. There's no real clear winner on the draft. But at the same time, it's just like, come on, who you want to pick?
Yeah.
Just tell me, who do you want to pick? Hyperion or the True Team Fancy?
I'm going to have to go with Hyperion, I think. Just because...
Yeah, that's who I was going to go.
Just because, like, the top tier hero choices are there. And it's not to say that Lost Vikings, Jaina, etc. aren't top tier picks, but the Illidan, the Rhaegar, and the Sylvanas put together is just a scary, scary combination to have to deal with.
For me, the only reason is they got Nova. #1 hero player killer thing, you know. She just kills people.
Yeah, but Nova's really easy to deal with. Like, as soon as she shows up, especially because you have to play Nova in, I think, just the higher level metas very, very carefully, very, very safely. If you try to do like some of the stuff that you can normally do in solo queue with Nova in a competitive game, I have found out very, very firsthand that does not really work out so well. You can't like pop up in the back and just kind of snipe out the back line, because it's just not going to work out so well.
Well, yes, but no, they don't really have anyone to jump her.
Lost Vikings, man. Lost Vikings get on that Nova, she's dead in an instant.
But they don't have that gap close to get there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's true.
Like, the only person here with any kind of gap close is ETC. So I think she's going to be super safe. I think Sylvanas is going to be super safe, and they're going to have their hands full with Illidan anyways.
That's true. That's very true. All right, I'm scared.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting that we're both in agreement here, but Hyperion, the only reason, as I said, is because of the Nova. I think there's just so many prime targets for her here and not a lot of recourse. It was free week Nova, so perhaps I have a little bit of fear instilled in me.
Dear God.
Oh, man, she's any immobile hero, and she is just having a field day. And, you know, I think we're about to see that here. Sky Temple is finally loading up, and we can finally go to the game.
Yeah, I'm very excited, of course, because it's just Sky Temple. As I was saying before we saw those really weird bans coming out immediately on the other game, Sky Temple is just such a great map. We immediately started thinking it was such a snowball-heavy map when it first came out, but now we're starting to realize Sky Temple is such a fun map because you have these like ridiculous comebacks, like we saw Do Your Best do last game. They just were able to be a couple levels down and still come back and be able to level everything back up, even everything back up with that one team fight over the shrine.
One team fight late game, man. That could actually be the key here on Sky Temple. But, you know, capture the temples, hold the temples, defend the temples. Everything is temples.
Oh, look, I never even realized that the Lost Vikings are in the bottom left-hand corner of the Sky Temple thing. I always focused on like,
this map has been out for how long?
I am not a very observant man. I will admit that immediately. But yeah, I mean, you know, I always look at the top right-hand corner. I'm hoping to see like the dragon, Brightwing Fairy Dragon, and just kind of look at that and watch that. But
No,
All
the
right.
Viking is cool, man. He is cool. All right, so to everyone's not surprise, it is actually the True Team Fancy on the left. I had to fix the overlay for it, but just remember, True Team Fancy Blue. It's going to be Darkmawk, Crosby, Blumby, Deviz, and Vonafil. It's going to be representing here. Looks like it'll be a Brightwing bottom, at least to start.
And over here on the right-hand side, it is Hyperion with Sylvanas being played by Granite, House MD on Nova, Ruslan 333 on Muradin, Nagato on Illidan, and
Yep, Rhaegar.
I don't even know if anybody in chat has any idea of how to pronounce that. That would be really nice, but my Russian is a little rusty, and by rusty I mean non-existent. So,
Brillic, right? Yeah, the Brillic.
yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna have to go with you there. I don't know how to say it whatsoever, but
I'm gonna
you
call
see,
him 3 because that looks like a 3 in the beginning.
I wanted to do that, but I'm not gonna offend anyone.
Is that offensive? Okay, so yeah, we'll just go with Rhaegar. So let's talk about this top lane. We've got really nice Jaina and Brawl sitting up here, as well as the Muradin, just kind of sitting around trying to soak as much as possible. House MD and Nagato looks like they want to get to a little bit of engagement over here, just kind of do some little bit of chip damage here to Blumby.
Well, they might be chipping away at Blumby, but they're absolutely chunking away at these Vikings in the middle, because Granite with that Sylvanas, like, he's going to be able to outrange every single one of them. In fact, I think this is actually the worst matchup that you could have put Deviz up against early game, because I don't think he can do anything against Sylvanas.
Yeah, you really can't. You can't get any free damage. I mean, look at how much damage Olaf is taking. They're trying to do as much damage as possible. The good thing about the Vikings is that they've got really heavy sustain, though, once they get their Viking core kind of starting to get going. But right now, there's just so much free damage. But as I'm saying that, Granite being engaged upon, tried to use the Banshee to get out, but Blumby stunning her at the last second, going to be able to stop her from getting out of there, and that's going to be a first pickup. And level 3 here in advantage here for the True Team Fancy.
Yeah, capture the temples. I mean, we're not really going to see any kind of big power spikes until 4, but wow, where did Illidan go down? He was way too far forward. Did not expect to actually see another kill that quickly, but there's the level 4. 4-2. Would you believe? We also have now the Vikings splitting up as well. So again, that's the big power of them here. They can soak, and the rest of the team can 4-man collapse.
True Team Fancy doing really well, though. Trying to get into these engagements. Blumby taking a lot of damage, was able to rotate back out. They pick up the Nova, and Hyperion sitting in a really bad spot. Granite now very, very low in health. Crosby going to be able to pick that up. And it looks like Rhaegar is going to go down as well. Nagato coming back into a 4-man stock up here at the top shrine, and they're going to be able to pick up both. This is looking a lot different from how we expected in the team compositions.
Well, you can only predict so much from a draft, but as you said, you didn't really have a clear idea about who would go back and forth. The draft is only half the battle, my friend. It's how you play it is how the other half is going to be going out. But level 6 to level 3, this is absolutely looking dominant here. Early game from the True Team Fancy, and yeah, as I said, Deviz, he split up. He even took out that mid temple during all that, and that was a full 5-man swipe in the beginning.
Yeah, it was. That was a huge 5-man just loss. I mean, they're losing towers down bot as well. Is this going to be level 7? Yes, it is. This is a very, very... Oh, Zombie Dragon. Okay, cool.
Yeah, just Brandyguild. I can't even say his name. Thank you. So Rhaegar is Zombie Dragon.
Okay, nice. Okay, glad to know that we can actually pronounce that now. Zombie Dragon is going to be the Rhaegar. So they're starting to come back a little bit now. Now it's 7-5. It's not as bad as 3-6, but it's still a little bit of a distance they have to go, and they're really not doing so well because they just lost Granite again. But man, is True Team Fancy coming out here on fire already.
Yeah, Nagato and House MD looking for those body blocks, looking to get Darkmawk. Doesn't look like they're actually able to chew through the hit point difference in those levels. But even there with that Nova and the Illidan, they couldn't take him down. Muradin, however, it will be the return damage because Darkmawk just goes straight up and hammers him to the face. And we got, again, the Vikings starting to get ready for those splits. You see Eric kind of thinking about going up top. You also got now Olaf just sitting up mid, and Merc camps. Bottom gate is already been destroyed, Jim.
Yeah, they're just able to barrel down on this really, really hard. They've got the bruisers in the top lane. Olaf sitting up there as well. I'm sorry, actually, no, that's Eric. and they're just able to do 2/4 worth of damage immediately. This is going to be a fork going down. This is going to be level 9 over level 6 for over their opponents, and this is just, they're sitting in a very, very happy, fancy spot.
Now, a fancy spot. Capture the tempo is up. So if we do get 10 before 7, this is a 2-talent tier advantage in some of the earliest advantages I've ever seen in a competitive match.
I think this would be the biggest advantage I've ever seen in a competitive match, especially because it's before level 10. Oh my god, they're going to be able to pick up Granite. It's so close. Can they get the 10 over 7? I've never seen this before. I'd actually kind of really want to see it. They
screenshot this, ladies and gentlemen. Screenshot it. 4 levels between them, and now those heroics. You saw the Emerald Wind come out, and Mirrodin goes down. We already took out the bottom, the mid, and now even the top is getting so much value from these laser shots as this early advantage.
God, that thundering was ridiculous.
I didn't see it.
Oh, he just, like, Nova was just through the gate. He goes up and gets this, like, calculated geometric angle of doom that pushes Nova back out just at the last second. It was like, you know how Kerrigan just makes you feel like you're safe behind your gate, but there's a Kerrigan, and then all of a sudden you're in front of your gate and you didn't want to be there. Same exact thing, but with the Sundering.
11-7, and the pickup is 13 kills to 0. We have more kills than levels, and almost a rate of 2 and a bit per minute between the two teams. It is absolutely a dominant game coming out from True Team Fantasy. As I said, I've seen them before in these qualifiers. They're looking to make their mark, and this next fight, are they going to clean this up? Because Crosby's going down very quick.
Crosby taking a lot of damage with the mosh pit and the Emerald Wind, actually knocking everybody back out of the Emerald Wind, or out of the mosh pit. Crosby, though, is staying alive for an inordinate amount of time. Oh my god, no! Yes, taken out by the Bruisers!
Does that count as a kill? I guess it counts as a kill.
It counts as a kill. Oh my god.
So, Bruiser Hype getting the only kills so far for the Hyperion, but the only one that did not go down there is Granite, and Granite because he just simply wasn't there for that fight. Level 12 to 8 Hype, we are still maintaining a 4-level differential. Easy, says Nova. All right. And at the same time, I mean, they're going to clean up those now Bruisers, but that's leaving us a lot of map control here to the True Team Fantasy, and they're going straight for boss.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick up this boss, and already they've started to do so much damage to those bottom towers at the key. This is just going to be a really nice way to push on that and be able to pick up the rest of anything else. I don't even know what they want to do with this. Do they want to push with it? Do they want to go do something else? That's the question here. They picked up Mosh Pit, which is something I just realized as well.
Yeah, the
I was
Mosh
like,
Pit
he
and
can
the Emerald
stage dive.
Green.
Wait a minute.
No, we just saw that in the last fight. The counter workings of both of them. One keeps them there, the other pushes them all off. So they got to be very careful going into this next fight, not to kind of stagger those so that the effects are lessened. But with this boss coming in, these towers are about to drop, and we are once more to a 2-talent tier advantage between the teams.
Yeah, level 13 to level 9. This is really one of those big drawbacks to the fact that Blizzard kind of made level 1 to level 10 such a huge distance now. They added a lot of experience for each of those levels, and it's definitely showing here.
Big boss coming through, and gates are down 13 to 9, 14 about to hit, and the boss is going to go score that core. Could this actually be the game ender right here at an 8-minute mark? Well, we got the ETC just going to start working away, as well as Olaf in the bottom. They're looking for the rest of these keeps.
Yeah, they're trying to do as much damage as possible with the shrines. They're going to be able to pick up the Illidan yet again, and this isn't even close to their full fighting potential here, the ETC. But can Thrall actually block the triple tap? He's going to be able to. Darkmock now getting stunned out here by Rustlin. They're trying to disengage, but here comes the boat. They do have their heroics up now, so that's nice. But House MD going right back down. Rustlin going right back down, and Granite is about to take for granted his stun. Can he actually get it? No, he doesn't. And he's going to go down. Now here comes Zombie. Oh my god, the mosh pit going to be able to knock out Nagato. And this is not looking too good. They might be able to end here. Oh my god, they're picking up Zombie as well.
So there's clearly enough damage on the board, the combo with that Jaina, but still 5 levels between them, 26 kills to 1.5, and now the core is finally taking some of that damage. We also got Eric into the back, still split soaking with Baylog, but they got ETC.
Wow, looks like they're not actually going to be able to do this. They're going to lose Jaina and ETC.
Why did the kill counter not go up?
I don't know. I think because she DC?
Could be. I don't know.
know.
Looks like Vonnefield will finally be the pickup here as well. 1 kill is almost an entire quarter level to these guys right now.
Yeah,
Like, that's how far behind they are.
This is actually, they could potentially start bringing this all back up. It's not
5 level difference. You think they can come back?
It's not impossible. It's not impossible.
Well, they are about to get to the bees here with that Baylog. Yeah, there's no way he's getting away from Nagato, but I say that.
Nagato going down at the last second. I don't even know where that lightning came from because, oh, it bounced off the wall. I was like, it came from such an improbable angle.
Darkmok making the plays. Davies now just looking for the body blocks there from the Nova snipes. But 15 to 12, we have caught up, 2 of those levels already, looking for that third. But we are about to hit 16 for the True Team fans. And yeah, with that core so low, it's a very easy YOLOable situation.
That is quite true. And with these Siege Giants, they can pick up any more of these kind of bot lane presence, or even if they just have something that's in the top lane that will bait out the rest of the team to go up there. I mean, Hyperion's got to go answer something that's in the top lane. Guess what? All of a sudden, in the bot lane, there's going to be a Brightwing and a couple other people showing up, and that could potentially be 4 as well.
Big opportunity. Didn't get it.
Yeah, there's the wall that's right there that's going to block that triple tap. House MD trying to get out of here. Granite, though, going to go down. There's a boat. There's a mosh pit. Rustling going down. It looks like that's a triple kill here for Team Fancy. And this could just, they could just barrel on in here without a Chen, but they can still do it.
Oh, he's going for it. Gets the Sunder. Here's the Poly, but there's an Illidan. Will that be enough for the counter? Darkmok is self-healing. He got the Vonnefield heal there as well. Back and forth. They will actually take out Orc for Orc, and now it's Illidan on top of Vonnefield, but here comes the rest of the team for the support, and everybody is dead on the side of Hyperion.
There's no one left to fight.
As our good friend Blackheart would say. Absolutely. And everyone has now actually come back up, so it's not actually for a rush. In fact, it's going to be a little bit of a collapse here on top of Jaina. Those snipes finally starting to hit those marks, and she's going to sprint away. But this is a dire situation because top, we got bruisers. We're about to add more bruisers to them, and 2 temples have spawned.
Yeah, they're sitting in a really, really rough spot, and with both these temples up, the Shrine are going to be able to melt down that keep pretty quickly, and if they get that keep down, I think maybe even about 10 bullets would probably take out that core.
Well, they're really starting to work their way on the infrastructure here. Here comes House, though. Going to be looking for, I assume, to snipe, but I mean, it is Olaf. It's not exactly the easiest of guys to burst down. Zombie Dragon posturing there with that Illidan. Looks like they will take control of at least 1. But you also got Vonnefield also pushing in, trying to make sure that these catapults, and we got 3 catapults in the bot, 1 there in the mid. If they start working away, especially in conjunction with these lasers, that could be it.
What if this is going to be like a situation like the actual show House MD, where House just like solves the issue at the last second? Like we think everything's about to, the patient's about to die, which is basically their core, and they're all of a sudden House is like, I got it, it's Lupus, and then he just all of a sudden the enemy blue team just like DCs and they win. But I don't think that's happening here. It looks like the core is gonna go down. The dog running straight on into it. And yeah, True Team Fancy gonna be able to take this game and move on up.
What a ridiculously dominant early game. Kills and kills and kills. They had a team wipe at the first temple.